welcome to the OHIO podcast. I am your host, Buckeye Boggs, aka the Podfeather. That's the wild man over there. He's got some new audio. Sounds crispy, I think. And you're muted. You don't have anything. No volume at all. He's learning, folks. He's new on the job. It's a
No, that
new.
was where I muted it because I was coughing a minute ago.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. Man, we're thankful to have each and every single one of you with us in the chat tonight. I got some new toys, Chris. Would you like to see them?
Sure.
I got this little bling.
Nice.
Yep. I got this as well. Ah. It's 50 pounds.
And that's a party horn, right?
Yeah. It's a whatever you want it to be. It's a and just because they loved me, they sent me some coasters as well for free. But
Well, that was nice of them.
yeah, nice little company. I'll share their little company card with all of you. But thank you to Lacey in the chat. Lacey's of I think sister and brother-in-law. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lacey. They have a company, and they were making some cool stuff, and I thought I'm going to support you all in the chat support us. I'm going to support you guys in the chat when you all bring this to my attention. So I love it. I am so happy that it came in. I am thrilled to death. The prices were phenomenal, and it's going to go on the shelves. I'm thinking, Chris, this needs to go behind me on the shelf. Don't you think?
That looks like a good spot for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see here. There we go. Let me move this guy out of the way here.
You could probably put it right where the Memorial Trophy with Purdue goes, since there's never a chance that they're going to win that again.
You made me snort. Probably. Oh, it's good to have each and every single one of you with us tonight. We have a special guest in the chat, Chris.
Do we now?
Yeah.
Hey, whoa! I see.
Uh-huh.
Your
Yeah.
buddy's here, Eric.
Yeah. I see Kaden the man in the chat. Now, Kaden said he called me out. I have no idea what you called me out for, or what you even talked about, Kaden.
Did he bring his 5 followers with him?
I don't know, but he's here, so I will give Kaden the opportunity to play nice and see what he has to bring.
I always play nice, Eric.
That's a lie. We all know that's a lie. You should repent right now, wild man. Anyways, I hope you're all having a good night. Let's talk a little bit tonight about what is going on in college football before we send it on over to all you in the calls. We got a couple in the calls already. By the way, if you want to call in tonight, the number's scrolling on the bottom of your screen. Feel free to give us a little ring, 567-483-1999. And by the way, super chats are on. If you want to super chat a question, or if you want to skip the line, if you don't want to wait, you can skip the line and send a super chat, and we'll just send you right to the front of the line. We're like Disney. You pay extra, you'll get to go to the front of the line. Anyways, the NCAA is in the college football committee are having their meetings, and it is basically being ran by the Big Ten and the SEC. And they are going over they were going over how to change things here, right? Are we going to go to 14 teams playoff? Are we going to go to a 16 team playoff? Who's going to run the show? How many Big Ten teams are going to get in? How many SEC teams are going to get in? Is the ACC, how can we destroy the ACC in the next 5 years? I mean, you name it, it's going down right now. Can we just all agree right now? It's the Big Ten and the SEC's world, and everybody else is just living in it.
Oh, absolutely, Eric. I mean, these guys are in a position to take their ball and go home, for all intents and purposes. the NCAA is going to cave because if you look, they already have. I mean, you have, what is it, 29% of the revenue from the playoff goes to the Big Ten, 29% goes to the SEC as it stands, and that leaves the rest of college football to share what, roughly 42%, something like 52%, something like that. I I don't know I don't remember the exact numbers, but the fact is the NCAA knows which side the bread is buttered on. There we go.
Yeah.
And they're gonna cave. Now, that being said, I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like the idea of 4 automatic bids for each of these 2 conferences.
I mean, you will if they get bigger.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you go to a 16-team playoff, which is ultimately, I think, where we're headed, at least 16 teams, uh, you know, they should be able to play their way. I mean, some of these, I mean, scenarios are wild, Eric. Uh, I mean, you didn't even really touch on like championship weekend being a thing of the past. It's now going to be play-in weekend if they have their way.
Right.
You know, where the under the Big Ten's model, they say, okay, 1 and 2 from the Big Ten are in. 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. You guys play it out for our other 2 spots. Well, then you got the SEC, who's really losing their mind because they want to do an 8-team playoff, basically, NCAA basketball style, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, and so forth down, with their top 8 teams. And what people don't realize is that really locks up more than 4 spots automatically because you're going to have an upset in there somewhere. You're going to have an upset in there, and it's going to automatically give you at least 5 teams when that happens. It's just, it almost has, I don't want to say a predetermined feel to it, but that it kind of does. It's running the little guy out of it completely, for all intents and purposes, or it will, especially when you talk about the fact that if they go to 16, they're also pitching the idea of 2 automatic bids for the ACC, 2 automatic bids for the Big 12. So now you're up to, 12 bids of the 16 automatically gone. You figure Notre Dame's going to get one no matter what. So there's 13 of the bids automatically gone. It's wild, Eric. It almost has a staged feel to it. I mean, you're not determining the outcome of the game, but it feels very pro wrestling like. It's sports entertainment at this point. We're gonna tell you we're not gonna tell you exactly how the match is gonna be won, but we're gonna kind of tell you who's gonna win it because we're gonna determine who gets in there. We may not tell you the exact champion, but we're gonna tell you it's gonna be one of these guys.
By the way, Andre Green says, Chris, you're sounding better than ever.
Well, it's a combination of great audio equipment and a sore throat. I'll tell you, that's it.
You sound great, man. I'm glad we
Yeah.
got you some equipment. So thank you everybody in the chat. When you guys give us super chats, we always reinvest it or we donate it. Like it's just how we are here. And yeah, so we decided to finally get Chris some new equipment. He sounds awesome. Dennis Moore, $4.99 super chat. Fire Deebs had to say it before the Wild Man does. Says.
Now you know what, guys, Diebler is getting a little grace from me, especially if he manages to pull off a tournament bid this year. But you know what? I feel like you got to give Deebs more than 1 year.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
I wasn't yelling fire Ryan Day after 1 year or 2 years or even 3 years. It took 3 consecutive losses to that team up north. And then when he finally fixed it and won a national title, I was the first one to come out and say I was wrong. So let's move past it, okay? Yes, we were all overly critical of Ryan Day. And if you say you weren't, you're only lying to yourself, okay? No matter who you are, you were overly critical of Ryan Day. Just own it. I do. That being said, back to the playoff thing, Eric. I don't like it. I don't like the 2 running the show and demanding automatic bids. I think we ought to go to if you're going to go 16 teams, whatever. I like the 12 at this point over 16, but if you're going to go 16, that's fine. But you know what? Rank the teams using the old BCS formula. Take the quote unquote eye test out of it. Take the emotional, the human aspect out of it. Let the computers decide who is best 1 through 16 and let those teams play for the national title, or 1 through 12 or 1 through 8. I don't care how you do it. But let the computers pick it and then go with that. We don't need automatic bids. If you need an automatic bid to be in, you shouldn't be there.
Andre says, "Where did you get the bling chain?" You're looking at it right below me. Purple Dragon 3D printing. Check that out. That is Lacey's sister and brother-in-law's company, and they do fantastic, really quick turnaround, fast. It was shipped in 2 days to me. Like they did a fantastic job. Prices are very like prices are about half of what you would pay for this if you went to pick this up at the game. I kid you not. The people who sell this kind of stuff, as you walk into the shoe, the prices on that compared to what they charged, about half of what you would see. So, yeah, go check that out. And so there's a number. I think there might be a website. It's really hard for me to see right now. You guys can see it better than me, because of the way we're looking at EV Mux. But I think there's it's an email, Purple Dragon 3, the number 3, D printing at gmail.com. You can email them. There's a phone number if you want to call, and they know who I am. You say, hey, I was on the OHL podcast with Saul Boggs' chain. I'd like to order me one. They'll hook you up. They'll hook you up. Go check them out. Or if you're friends with Lacey on Twitter, not to sorry Lacey, I didn't. I hope I'm okay in saying this. Just DM her and she can get you. She can send you this card as well, or put you in touch with them. So Chris, you're muted again. Come on, Chris.
I'm sorry. When I cough, I'm muting myself so you guys don't get an earful of it.
Yeah, well, we do appreciate that.
But are you telling the fan base to just slide into Lacey's DM? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I am not saying that.
Because
You
that's what it
son of a
sounded like,
gun.
Eric.
Expedition Greg gifted one OHL podcast membership. It went to Prentice Jones. Prentice Jones was gifted a membership by Expedition Greg. Thank you, man. All right, Chris. I have a lot more to say on this. Yeah. Chris has got the flu again. He's just a sick individual. Like, I mean that with all sincerity.
Yeah, I'll tell you, working in elementary school, if you want to have a hazardous career, that's the place to go. Working in an elementary school, I love it, but by God, I'll tell you what, you're gonna end up sick at least twice a month.
Now, what really stinks is when your wife works at an elementary school and you don't, but you still get sick because she works at an elementary school and brings it home to you.
She shares.
Yeah, sharing is caring. It's what we do around here. All right, this is going to be awful interesting here. Let's see who this is here. Uh, okay, I believe this is a first-time caller, so this might be him. Let's find out. Slow HIO podcast. Who we talking to?
Hey, Eric, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Is this the man?
You guessed it correct. How's it going, sir?
It's going just fine. Now, I'm intrigued. You said you wanted to call me out. I'm here. I'm all ears. What do you want to talk to me about, Kaden?
Just what I want to say, love the show. You were kind of you kind of popped out of nowhere on YouTube when I was calling John out on Always Irish ND, and I was like, daggum. I found your YouTube channel, started listening to your stuff, and I was like, daggum, this Eric guy's good.
Well,
Give you credit.
all right. Okay. Well, Hey, I take compliments with the best of them. So I'll take your compliment. I'll take your compliment. So I appreciate that. Now, here's the thing, Caden. We're both Buckeye fans. We should be on the same team here, and I'm willing to help you out. So if you're willing to be helped, is that a deal?
It is a deal, Eric, and I wanted to say this. How about the Ohio State Buckeyes winning that national championship when everybody else thought we couldn't do it?
Well, everybody else was wrong, Caden. Even some of us who didn't think we could. So that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes in the 614 as we roll around, right? So, uh,
Exactly.
it's one
But
thing. It's one thing, Caden, to have blind faith in your team, which there's always going to be some of that. When you're a fan, it's short for fanatic. There's always going to be some blind faith. It's another thing to go on this incredible run and celebrate in it. And that's what we're doing because to be 100% honest with you, my friend, after the way we lost on November 30th, I didn't think that this was going to happen. And I think most of Buckeye Nation didn't think this was going to happen. What did Caden the man think would happen?
well, particularly for my first thought, I was like, "Oh, we're screwed." Michigan was going to get another shot again, and then by the grace of God, I didn't know what would happen, and the miracle happened.
It did. It didn't. So how do you think that miracle happened? You've been watching the Buckeyes. How do you think it happened?
You know, I think it was just kind of like I think it was just kind of the grace of God that we were able to do it. And I think the team reevaluating themselves and just, talking about like what they need to change. If there's something that they made a mistake on, then they fixed it. What I like about this Ohio State team is that they discuss the issues that they need to fix. So like how when we lost to Oregon, they fixed that up when we played Oregon again in the Rose Bowl. Preparing for Tennessee when we knew the stakes were high. When we played Texas, when we played Notre Dame again. So I feel like that's kind of where that kind of took a turn.
Hmm. Well, one of the things that Chris and I have been saying for many years now is that Ryan Day knows how to make adjustments very well. He doesn't, when things aren't going well, he doesn't beat his head against the wall over and over and over again, except apparently against the team up north. However, I think that's going to be changing as well. But he he makes the adjustment and he moves forward. And when he's got a killer instinct about him, he's a different kind of coach. We saw
Mm-hmm.
it against Georgia a couple years ago. We saw it in this
Mm-hmm.
playoff run. What do you think it is? What is that switch that gets turned for Ryan Day as a play caller, as a head coach, that causes him to have that killer instinct at different times as a coach? Or was it was just a matter of time and now it's here?
I honestly thought it was a matter of time. Like you mentioned, when we played Georgia a couple of years ago in the Peach Bowl, we knew we weren't going to win that game by an easy chance. We knew we got to fight 60 minutes against the Dogs, and we knew it was going to be a bloodbath in Atlanta, and we knew it was going to be tough. So I feel like that and then time just kind of helped, progress this team to where it ended up in, we became national champions 2 years after we played the Dogs.
That's right. We absolutely did. All right, Caden. Last question here for you, buddy. Last question. So, when you called me out, I haven't watched or listened to whenever you called me out. Keeping it family friendly, what did you say? I'm dying to know.
I just like our first interaction when I was calling out John. I think that's kind of where I said to John, like their name is not going to be the same team that they are. You know, I despicably hate Notre Dame, and I hope you understand that. They're like rodents that I can't stand that I want to just knock out. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
I think Chris
So I
will
think
agree
after that
with you.
first interaction, when I had a few words to say to John, I think that's kind of where I kind of had a little bit of aggression. So I apologize if I had a little aggression, if you may have felt that way. So I just want to apologize about that if I didn't already mention it.
Now, but that's not calling me out. So you had
No, and
aggression towards me.
I called you out because um I just wanted to know, like, if you would actually respond to my call, to actually me saying I don't called you out as an Ohio State fan, and you answered it. So that's all I just wanted to ask.
Let me just
You'd
throw
answer
this
another
out there.
Buckeye on YouTube.
Let me just throw this out there. First of all, coming from probably the person the Notre Dame fan base, especially Kennedy's people, hate more than anyone else, and that being me.
That's true.
Notre Dame is not a bunch of rodents. They've just got one rat that's running the ship. That's all.
Oh, come on, Chris.
That's all. One rat,
Chris, you gotta be kidding me.
one weasel right there running the ship. That's it.
Oh, goodness. All right. Hey, Kaden the man, since you came on here and you were polite and you were pleasant to talk to, tell everybody where they can find your YouTube channel.
You can find me at Kaden the Man 614 on YouTube. Um, I might post some like social media stuff so you guys can follow me wherever I post social media stuff. But mostly I'm on YouTube. And Eric, there was a couple things I mentioned on my channel before in the previous couple days to week, and I think you might be interested in hearing what I have to say about it. As coming from an Ohio State fan who's looking at possibly a couple contenders for the national championship if someone steps up to Ohio State. I've got a couple teams in mind that I've got some potential, but I know one of them might answer back.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Caden the Man 614. You heard it. Go over there, check it out, and hit the subscribe button if you like what you hear and see. All right, Caden. Thanks for calling in, man. Feel free to call back in, brother.
And Eric, there was something I was going to mention to you about this year's playoff contenders
Sure. What you
that
got?
I wanted to talk to you about.
Yep. Go for it.
So I have a couple teams in mind that I feel like could be potential contenders to Ohio State, but one of them I have like a 99% knowing that they'll be back to come face Ohio State for the national championship.
All right.
I've got Georgia as kind of the number one contender because they and this is just from what I've seen on their social media page at UGA football. That's the University of Georgia football Instagram page, and I seen what they were doing over there, and I said, you know what? If Georgia wants to come back for round 2 against Ohio State in the playoffs, so be it. I know Ohio State's going to be ready to face Georgia again, and we're going to show them who's the real big dogs of college football. As far as like ACC is concerned, I'd say maybe potentially Miami or Pitt or SMU, someone like that. Because Clemson and Florida State, let's be honest, they're not going to be a threat. As far as the Big 12 is concerned, BYU, Arizona State, and Iowa State, and possibly West Virginia. I could possibly see them, but don't quote me on that. That's just my opinion and thought. I don't know what you think, but that's just my list of potential contenders and possibly a rematch against Georgia for the title somewhere down the road. But who knows when we're going to face Georgia again if they can step up their game, which I pray to God that they.
I think I don't think Pitt stands a chance in the ACC. I think Miami's recruited well, but we'll see how they'll develop. They have a quarterback now. You didn't mention Clemson. I think Clemson's got one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. They also have a 3-year starting quarterback that you should probably check out. I think Clemson, who made the 12-team playoff this past year, has got a very good chance of getting back. Big 12 is a complete free for all. I think every year, who knows? It could be a complete crapshoot every single year in the Big 12. SEC, I think you're right. I think Georgia has got obviously one of the better rosters. I think Alabama might actually get back. So be careful with them. And we'll see who else the SEC will have. I think Tennessee fans will tell you with Nico returning that they've got a shot, but we'll see. So, all right, man. I got to move on to the next call. Thanks for calling in, Kaden. We'll catch up next time you call in, brother. All right.
And to Alabama fans,
All right, buddy.
you're not, honestly, they're not.
What's that?
I was going to say, I don't see Alabama as a threat, and go Bucks.
Go Bucks. OH, buddy. Take care. All right. Let's move on, Chris.
Can't believe we had no mention of Texas really in that conversation at all.
And we should have. Yeah. Arch. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Yeah.
TG, what's happening?
What up, Eric? What up, Chris? How y'all doing?
Oh, we're hanging in.
Hey, we're doing good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Oh, by the way, I'm going to point this out there. We're going to have Alabama fan Kangaroo Black on the Buckeye Boys. Me and Sean will be interviewing him, and we'll be pretty going heavy on the scum up north because that dude hates them as much as we do.
He does, doesn't he?
It's going to be fun.
His videos are fire, man.
Yeah, I love watching his videos, especially the one where he was just flaming scum out the window. I was dying. I'm like, and it was so funny, as I mentioned it on the Buckeye Boys show when Sean told me the news, was typically SEC fans hate Ohio State, and they always have because we're the biggest threat. But they hate Michigan even more because these clowns keep running their mouth like they've done something. They don't hate Michigan for the same reason they hate us. Like, they just hate them because it's like, shut your mouth. What have you done, you irrelevant, scum-sucking, pond-dwelling, 80-year drought, irrelevant program? Shut your mouth.
Now, hey, they cheat as good as any team in the country. Make no mistake about it.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Look, the NIL, when they were doing NIL before it was legal, let's be real, that was cheating by the SEC. But
oh yeah, no doubt.
Scum has done is so much worse.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Than what? Because at least with Bama and them, at least you did a better job of hiding it than Scum did. Like, you actually intelligent how you did it.
Well, you know, that's just the scum arrogance, though, TG. That's all that is. That is the arrogance of a team that thinks they are bigger than the game, bigger than the NCAA. And you know, as much as I've been on here preaching that, hey, that's eventually going to catch up with them, I don't know anymore. I just don't know.
Oh, I do, because Justin Spiro literally just talked about it. Oh, they're coming from Michigan.
I hope so. I've thought that all along, but man, you know, I'm just starting to get impatient.
No, you have to be patient because, Chris, they're trying not to screw this up. This is the one time where I'm saying with the NCAA, their rules of taking this slow is a better approach because they don't want to violate any of the rules they set out. They're going to be patient with this till they can get Michigan. They're going to be super patient. They are so dead on trying to get this team. And dead on chopping off their heads. They are going to literally take as much time as they need.
Tell me if you think I'm right on this. My thing has been with this, I don't think that they risk going to court if the NCAA doesn't think they have a 100% ironclad chance of winning this thing. Because of their failures in the past, I think if they didn't think they could win this, they wouldn't let it go to court.
Absolutely. That's how I've always looked at it. Because anytime the NCAA goes to court and loses, it's involving NIL. That's it. And the transport. That's it.
Right.
Regarding something like this, they're willing to go to court because they know they'll win. It's just the NIL and transporter where they struggle with that.
What else is on your mind tonight?
Oh, yeah. Like, oh, my God. Let me tell you something. Off the show I just did, we got to talking about stupid media and how they started painting narratives about how dynasties will be made with how much money is spent based off the Ohio State $20 million narrative. It drove me so crazy. I didn't want to go off on a tangent on the Buckeye Boys because we had like a little window that we had to get through, but oh my God, can y'all quit saying that? Why does everybody keep going with the $20 million roster narrative? I don't understand. Like, why do you guys think? First, let me start off with y'all. Why do y'all think they go off with this? Because I think I know why.
It's sour grapes, man. They want to paint this. They want to make something other than the fact that Ohio State rammed it down their throat. They want to make it about something other than, the positive vibe that Ohio State had coming off this. They want to destroy that narrative. They want to make this about the money. Well, guess what? And I'm sure you know this is already. There was 2-3 teams out there in the country that spent more than Ohio State. Where did they finish?
4.
You know what?
4.
And on top of that, they want to all say, well, Ohio State went out and bought the best team money could buy. That's not true. Most of that money was spent to retain talent they already had to keep them from going to the NFL. They didn't buy anybody. They were already in camp. They were already guys that Ohio State developed. They want to make it sound like that Ryan Day went out and bought the entire SEC, top 10 guys in the SEC. Or something. That's not the case. Yeah, he got a couple of great key transfers. But I think Caleb Downs, as much as the money, and I'm sure that played some factor, Nick Saban leaving was as big a factor in that as anything.
Pretty much.
They want to make it about anything but the truth. That's what they want. They don't want to face the fact
Eric,
that Ohio State went out there and did what everybody said they could.
Yeah, that's true, Chris. Eric, what you think?
So, TG, I have a big worry, and maybe you can calm me down. But all of this playoff talk between the Big Ten and the SEC, and might do away with the NCAA. If it does away with the NCAA and Michigan is trying to drag this thing out in the court system,
which is possible, that may be what they're trying to drag out,
then all of a sudden, do they skate getting away with getting any trouble with the NCAA? Do you follow what I'm saying there? I don't know if I clearly stated.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. And I've from the beginning, I've always felt that the NCAA had no teeth, they had no backbone, they're an illegal organization. And if the Big Ten and the SEC basically come in and go, we're running college football now, I don't think that the Big Ten commissioner is going to want to turn around and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to punish Michigan and take away their national championship from 2023.
But you can bet Greg Sankey would be all about that.
I don't know. He could probably care less.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Oh no. So.
They ran over his Alabama guys. Man.
I'm not too worried about that. Because the NCAA, I think their role will be to be the enforcers. That's what their role will be going from now on. They will enforce the rules. That will be what they do from here on out. I'm gonna say that now.
Where are you getting that from? Because if I'm the Big Ten and the SEC, I wouldn't want the NCAA in charge of the rules. They suck at it, TG. They've always sucked at it.
Yeah, no. Here's what I mean: is their whole thing. If the NCAA wants to remain relevant, they have to enforce rules. It's not like they're going to be in charge of the rules, because from what I understand, Nevada Buff, Kirk Barton, and Justice Field all talked about it. That's what their role will be on from now on. Like the Big Ten and the SEC, with how much power they're going to get, they could create the rules, and all the NCAA has to do is just enforce them at that point. That's for starters. Secondly, I'm not worried that Tony Petitti or whatever his name is going to let Michigan State, because I don't think this is the same guy who went after the Houston Astros for their little cheating scandal back in MLB. So if you think he's going to let Michigan State off the worst cheating scandal there's ever been in the history of sports, I don't think you should worry about that, because he does not play that whatsoever. Same with Greg Sankey. So they are all for Michigan getting hammered back to the Stone Age because they don't play that. That is just unforgivable. So I'm not worried about Michigan skating or anything because everybody wants them punished. The Big Ten wants them punished. The SEC wants them punished. Everybody wants them punished. They ain't skating off this whatsoever.
I hope you're right.
Not,
I really do. I hope you're right because I listen. I want nothing more than the Chris and I to load up in my truck and head about, I don't know, what is it, 140 miles or so
140, 150 miles,
east of
couple
here
hour
to
drive.
Pittsburgh, roll into Mike's Beer Bar with the Alumni Club of Pittsburgh with Mike Wargo and party like it's 1999 because Michigan got their trophy taken away from them. That's going to happen if that happens.
That's going to happen. Trust me. Like, I listen to Kirk in Nevada. You can always trust those guys because they have excellent tools. And same with Justice Spiro. They've been on this like no tomorrow. Believe them for what they say, man. I'm telling you.
I got to tell you, TG, you
on this whatsoever.
TG, you threw something out there I didn't realize. I didn't realize that Petiti was part of going after the Astros. And is there a little irony there that it was a sign stealing scandal that he went after? Yeah, you know, with the Astros. I mean,
almost practically. It's kind of like for Petiti, that's what's worse. It's like you had to deal with this back with the Astros, and he was going at them like crazy. Now, I will say MLB handled it differently than how it's going to be handled now, obviously. Like, he couldn't throw the book at him the way that he wanted to, but he really did. Here, he absolutely can get the book thrown at them because, let's be real, the NCAA knows if they want to maintain relevancy, you have to hammer the heck out of Michigan. You have to hammer these guys. And Petiti is all for it because he does not want no scum-sucking, pond-dwelling losers, cheating little cheetahs, trying to ruin the integrity of the sport the way the Houston Astros did with MLB. Except you did it 1,000 times worse, maybe 1,000,000 times worse than what the Astros did. Because that is just, and not only that, but you were way stupider about it even. So trust me, Petiti, he knows how to handle he knows what this scandal is like. He's not tolerating Michigan getting away with this whatsoever.
I love your passion with it, TG. I do. I love your passion, girl. By the way, guys, I think you're on at Thursdays at 6:00. Yeah, on the Buckeye Boys.
Yeah, at 6:00 where you guys are from. I live in Chicago, so it'll be at 5.
Oh, I didn't know you're from Chi-Town. I'm heading your way in about a month.
I am.
Yeah, I gotta go to Chicago to work in about a month, for about 4 days. So yeah, a little town east.
Yeah, I love my city. Chicago. Look, I love my city, but they be getting a little too dangerous. The good thing is I've actually found me like a little safe, quiet spot of a neighborhood where nothing bad really happens. Hopefully it stays that way, but you know how Chicago is.
Are you a Cubs or White Sox?
I was just asked that question.
I do not like any of the Chicago sports. I don't. I used to like the Blackhawks. I used to love the Blackhawks, and man, they have fallen off. I still like them, but my God. The Bears, don't even get me started with them.
Bears.
The fact that they drafted that bum, Caleb Williams. The fact they drafted that bum. I can't tell you how much I've gone off on that team with my father and my uncle who are Bears fans. And trust me, they agree with me. That dude sucks. He's trash. He's going to be the biggest bust of all time. And then I had to care for the Bulls since Derrick Rose. He was the only person, like, he made me love that team. I love that team. And then once Derrick Rose was gone, I did not care for the Bulls whatsoever. Like, I just cannot stand Chicago sports right now because all these franchises absolutely suck. Just suck.
Oh, TG, you're the best. Thanks for calling in. We need to scoot along here. I appreciate you though. Thanks for calling in. OH.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before I go, Eric.
Yeah.
At some point, I would love to come on you guys' show because I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy talking with y'all. And Chris is gonna be a guy I have fun with talking to the most. Just because him and I can have some fun debates.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
I think if you come on this show and Chris is on, I think I can take that night off. That's what I think I can do.
We might have to do that one night, TG. Maybe we'll get you on one night when Eric needs a night off, and you and I can just go back and forth for about an hour. I think it'd be a good time.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, girl. Take care. Thanks for calling in.
You too. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.
See you later.
Her energy, Chris. I wish I could bottle that up and sell it.
You didn't ask her the question that might have set her off. Who is
What's-
really the GOAT, Jordan or LeBron?
I would say knowing her, I would say Jordan. She'd say Jordan.
Well, first of all, of course, it's Jordan.
Yeah.
There's not even a question. But
All right, you ready for Tyler?
let's bring him on.
What's up, T?
Hello. Hello, Chris. Hello,
Hey,
Eric.
Tyler.
Tyler, your T-shirt's in the mail, man. Should be arriving to you probably either Saturday or Monday.
Perfect.
Yeah. What's on your mind tonight, buddy?
I got a serious question for. So I was doing some. Well, first of all, Eric, I got to tell you about this one guy. I was minding my own business. I go into the store, and it's conveniently when you're on a military post, Eric, you have all fans from all around the country, right? I was minding my own business, and this guy drives by me, and he sees my hoodie, national championship hoodie. He's like, "Hey, are you an Ohio State fan?" I'm like, "Yeah." You see Ohio State national championship? He's like, "Yeah, I'm a Notre Dame fan. Go Irish." I'm like, "Wow. So you want to tell me go Irish when we beat you?" Huh.
Yeah.
I'm like, the audacity of this guy was like really struck me. I'm like, so you were acting like that you didn't lose the game. He legitimately acted like that they won the game, Eric.
Well, it is a Notre Dame fan, so you have to question their intelligence. I understand that, but Tyler, let me let me say this because I want to get your opinion on this. So Notre Dame, they had I think it's Notre Dame Blue and Gold is the website. There's
Yes.
there was a writer who basically said that the reason why Ohio State won the national championship is because Notre Dame has to abide by stricter academic standards than what Ohio State does. And
that's always their excuse, Eric. Always.
I know, but it's false. So Ohio State's academic standards are actually in the upper echelon in the Big Ten now.
Yes.
Our GPA per player is really, really high. The SAT scores of the players on the football team are extremely high. These are really intelligent people. And by the way, even though Ohio State's academic standards are much greater than what they used to be, if you were to look at the academic body, or you have to look at the student body, which I think it's somewhere around, if I remember correctly, is it 6,000?
You talking about the total student count right now?
Yeah, it might be
66,000.
66.
66,000.
66,000 students. Okay, if you were to take the top 20, right, and compare that to Notre Dame's student body, which is about 20,000, I believe.
Yeah.
You take Ohio State's top 20 students and compare them, they're identical. So you cannot sit there and tell me Notre Dame, it's an elitist attitude to say things like that. It's the same kind of pompous, arrogant BS that scum fans, which, by the way, most of the people who cry, it's such a greater school, it's a better academic school, never even went there.
Well, if you've ever seen their grammar on their idiotic post,
you know what, Eric, I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't want to interrupt Chris, but I remember this. Do you know Steve Day at the Michigan podcast?
Oh, yeah, I know Steve.
Eric?
Yeah, I know him. Yep.
Well,
one of his videos when we beat them in 2019, right? He was going for all the excuses of Michigan fans, right? And they're like, "Oh, Justin Fields does online classes, so that's why they call us that he cheated because he used online classes."
Yeah.
Saying that they're the more prestigious school. We have more time to practice. You get your degree one way or another.
Well, and what's really funny about this, Tyler, it's going back to your Notre Dame fan, right? They if you recall, when Kelly left Notre Dame and went to LSU, one of his excuses was the academic standards at Notre Dame make it incredibly difficult to recruit here. He actually said that, right? Then Marcus Freeman comes in, and immediately Marcus Freeman says, we're not going to use that as an excuse, right? And the fan base was like, oh, yeah, exactly. And they get all the way to the national championship game, right? And they're like, Marcus Freeman ain't using it as an excuse. We can absolutely win here despite our academic standards. And then when they lose the game, what's the first thing they go back to? It's so hard to win here because it's like, pick a lane, dude.
Well, clearly the academic standards don't extend to the coaches. The guy can't count to 11.
And you know what? Another thing that really gets under my skin, Eric, Chris, is why is it so hard for other fan bases to just say, hey, congratulations, you were the better team that day?
Because people don't know.
You next time.
People don't have sportsmanship anymore, Tyler. When I was a kid, think about this. I don't know if they still do this or not, but when I was
hands after a game.
When I was a kid, you got your butt in line, you held out your right hand, and you went through that line and you said, good game. Win, lose, or draw. That's what you did. And the dads taught the kids, you better say, good game. And I'll never forget this, man. I took losing hard when I was a kid. Like I wanted to win everything.
I take losing hard too, Eric.
I'm down in the little huddle, right, with my dad, and my dad would be like, eyes on me, you know. My dad's a great coach. Eyes on me. Don't hang your heads. Like, these are all things that were instilled in us to show sportsmanship, to learn how to win gracefully, learn how to lose gracefully. One of the biggest issues I had with the whole flag planting incident was the fact that they didn't win gracefully. That is such a look at me, look at what I did. It's like it's the TikTok generation's what I call it. Give me my likes.
I need my attention.
Instant gratification. Act like you've been here before. You were just national champions a year ago, and you can't act like it. You know why? Because it's illegitimate, and they know it, Tyler. Man, you got me fired up, Tyler.
And Eric, another thing that really gets under my skin about them is this: you know, like, you see how Ohio State acts. But we act like we've been there before. They don't.
Because we have.
And when you're never there and you have to cheat your way to get there, and that's how you act immature. That's how you act like you're undeserving. You act like that you've been like a child, a spoiled brat.
Absolutely.
And honestly, the other thing that really gets under my skin about them too is the fact that how other fan bases across the nation don't understand it like we do. They give them too much benefit of the doubt, saying that we're the problem. No. They don't understand it because they don't live it 365 days. We do.
You mean other fan bases don't understand the rivalry between the Michigan fans and Ohio State fans? Is that what you're getting at?
Absolutely.
Okay, I thought I follow you. I understand now. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
And it's infuriating.
It is.
It's infuriating, Eric, Chris. And they blame us, saying that we're the problem. We didn't do this. We've been the victim.
Well, the victim was,
I wouldn't say it's a victim.
In general. Everybody was.
I wouldn't say it was a victim. I'd say, you know what? You're the problem. We're the answer.
Yeah, there it is.
And Tyler, as far as your Notre Dame fan goes, tell them, hey, you know what? Notre Dame's a great team, but you know what? On January 20th, we played like a champion that day.
Exactly. And I told him that, Chris, and all he did was this. He just waved his hand out this car and just was, yeah, whatever. I'm like, did you watch the game?
Probably not. And that's the thing. When you see all this ignorance, a lot of times it's from somebody who never even turned on the TV. When you hear all this, it's people running their mouths who have no idea what they're talking about. Either that or they're completely indoctrinated. Either way, they're morons, Tyler. You're just going to have to face the fact that you're surrounded by morons.
That's funny.
It really gets under my skin with people like that.
It really ruffled your feathers, Tyler.
It did.
We're better than you and we know it.
And the other thing that really got under my skin about it, Eric, was the fact that I was just minding my own business.
Well,
I'll just. That's all I got to say.
All right, Tyler. You know that sign.
They left him speechless, Eric.
Yeah. You know the sign when they come down the stairs at Notre Dame when they're coming out of their locker rooms, says "Play like a champion" and they slap it.
That's what I said. We played like a champion today.
Play like a champion today. I think. Did you know they changed that? Marcus Freeman changed that.
Did he?
Yeah, it says "Play like a."
Oh, really? What is it now?
Play like a Buckeye today.
I didn't know about this.
Well, sounds like he's giving him something to aspire to.
Yep. Play like a Buckeye today.
I don't know that he has the right to have the word Buckeye come out of his mouth.
Oh, Chris, stop it. All right, Tyler, thanks for calling in, buddy.
Wait, before you go, Eric.
Okay, one last
thing. Before
buddy.
I go, I mean.
Yep, go for it.
Is that their new slogan? Play like a Buckeye?
No, I made that up, brother. I made that up.
I was about to say, well, if you play like a Buckeye, then you would have won. But hey,
boy, Eric, that feels like another T-shirt.
It does actually. I think we should make that. All right, Tyler, have a good one, buddy. OH. He was fired up, Chris. He was fired up. You know who else is gonna be fired up?
Who we got?
It's gonna be the legend himself.
Is it Ray?
It's Ray.
Is Ray fired up?
I bet you he is. Ray, what's going on tonight?
Eric, I thought you were gonna call me when you got your gift.
I'm sorry, buddy. I got busy. You please forgive me. I was actually.
Which one of those did you like the best?
The dog. The dog is phenomenal.
Yeah, how he kneels on his hind legs.
Yeah. Hey, Ray, I was up in your neck of the woods actually this week. I was up by Fort Wayne.
What were you doing up here?
I went to Noble County, and I had a meeting with the engineer from Noble County. We did a project for him, so I got to go meet him. Zach Smith's his name. Good. He's a tall guy too. He was like 6'8". But yeah, I was.
Well, you'll have to come up here and jog backwards with me for a mile.
Ray, I'd trip over myself, Ray.
Well, I'm getting my first shot tomorrow. It's been 8 weeks since I've run. It's driving me crazy. I've been going to malls and bowling alleys and everything, talking about the movie Kurt Warner. But I'll tell you got your Reese cups and everything, right?
Yeah, we sure did, buddy. I appreciate that so much, my friend. You're a good
What the
brother.
kids think of all those toys? Do they like them?
They love them, man. I tell you what, my wife works with special needs children, and
Mm.
she took the dog with her to work, and she said the kids love it.
Well, I hear you guys talking about the scumbags. I can't wait to get. I haven't put on the scoop yet. I got the YouTube where Nevada. They say they got a big update on the scumbags, what their penalties are going to be and stuff. So I got to watch it after I get off here. So wanted to give you a heads up that Nevada seems to know what he's talking about. We'll see if he ends up being right.
Yeah, so they had Spiro, who's a Michigan State guy on, and they were talking about that. I watched it a little bit. It was pretty good. And I agree with you. So far, Buckeye Scoop has been they're batting 1,000 on this thing.
Yeah, let's hope that, next month's March. I don't know. We thought they were going to have the penalties last March, so maybe it's going to be coming up here pretty quick. I hope they get it out there. And
So Nevada
the thing that bothers me the most about Michigan is they got all them people. They say they got integrity and everything. They way above everybody else integrity. But there ain't one person in that office or anywhere has ever said that they think they did anything wrong.
I know. Excuse me. Yeah, I know. It blows my mind. It boggles my mind, Ray. The incompetence of their leadership, the stubbornness of it, the turning of
arrogance.
yeah, arrogance. Absolutely, it's despicable. I'll say this, Ray. I don't want to ruin it for you because I did watch a large portion of their show. But to answer your question, Nevada Buck goes into a timeline. So he talks about an upcoming timeline. I think you're going to find that aspect pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, I hope it comes down because they need to do something to these guys to set a message for everybody else that you just can't do everything you want to do and keep getting away with it over and over year after year and get away with it without some kind of penalties. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I agree. If they what kind of penalty, Ray, do you think would be if the NCAA asked you, what do you think, what kind of penalty they should get? What do you think they should get for what they've done, Ray?
Well, 3 year bowl ban to start with. Maybe 10 or 20, 10 or 10 or 5 or 10 of their scholarships. A big fine for their arrogant asshole athletic department for just letting him get away with it. I don't know. I still don't know about that gambling. I mean, this is the thing that gets me, Eric, about the gambling. Is they looked over the last 3 years, and if you look at it, they beat all the point spreads. Except, I don't know, not very many times they lose. They said, and they only lost one game in 3 years. And the game that they lost was, remember we talked about it, the running back went wild on them. And the Big Ten apologized for them making a mistake in the game that cost Michigan the game over State. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Remember that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one loss in 3 years. And before that, they were losing 4 or 5 games every year.
Yep.
Yep. So, and what game was the cheating scandal guy at?
He was at the Western Michigan State game to start the season.
With Central Michigan win.
I think he was up there. Sorry. I think he was up there because they wanted to scout State because they didn't want to lose to the rivals anymore. You know, Jim Harbaugh back then was losing as many games as Ohio State was. They were both beating them back then.
Yeah.
They didn't like that at all.
No, they sure
They
didn't.
said they weren't going to put up with it anymore.
That's right. Well, remember, Jim Harbaugh said, Ray, we're going to try to beat Ohio State. We're going to die trying. And I'm pretty sure what he meant by that was we're willing to cheat to do it.
Well, what Harbaugh do in the playoffs? Did he win a game in the playoffs?
Well, he won. You mean the NFL playoffs?
No. Yeah, he went 1-out again, didn't he?
He did. Yes.
Yes.
He's not that great a coach. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He had to do something. I remember back in 2021 when the only time, the first time they beat him after losing 8 years in a row, he was walking around like a zombie. And I thought, wonder why he's acting so strange, and all the fans are walking around him and not even congratulating him or anything, because he knew he had cheated to win. He knew he had cheated. He said, well, I finally won, but it kind of takes a monkey off my back a little bit, but it was cheating, wasn't it?
It
You know
was.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. It absolutely was.
That's the bottom line. I just hope the NCAA does the right thing and gives them what they got coming, including taking away that national championship. I think they ought to take it away from them. I know they're going to cry, and we're going to hear it for 6 months to a year. They'll talk about taking it to court and everything else. But if the NCAA has all the evidence they should have by now, after 2 years, because they've been investigating this for 2 years, they should have enough evidence to be able to go to court and win the case. Now, they might outwin it in a court where the scumbags are going to try to get it in Ann Arbor. You know that.
Yeah.
They got all their judges up there. But if it goes all the way, if the NCAA has the guts to take it all the way to the the Supreme Court, they should rule in their favor because they got the evidence to show it to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I feel.
I feel I'm right there with you. I feel exactly the same. I'm just worried the NCAA.
What do you think of the NFL draft coming up? We got the combines coming up. Do you know how many Ohio State players are going to the combine?
15.
15.
Yep. The record.
What about our quarterback? Is the quarterback going there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. 15 were invited. I don't know how many are going to go. I think the majority of them are going to go. And then of course they'll have the NFL day or wherever where they come into the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, the Pro Day.
Pro Day.
And he'll get to throw there and things. But
what do you think he can run, the quarterback?
Will Howard
in the 40. Yeah. What do you think he can run?
4.5 or 4.6, Chris?
I would say a good run would be a 4.5 for him.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fast.
I think you could probably see an average in between a 4.55, 4.6. Yeah.
What about our two defensive tackles? Are they second-round picks or what?
Defensive tackles?
Tyreek is probably a high second, tackles. Low first.
You think so, Chris? That high?
I think Tyreek will sneak in. Defensive tackle, yeah. I mean, there's not a ton of good ones out there this year.
That seems awful high to me.
I could see him. Don't be surprised if you don't see a playoff contender, and I think we talked about this the other night. Trade up for him late first, early second. I definitely believe he could go.
What about our running backs?
Second and third rounds.
Yeah. I've heard people speculate that Henderson could go in the first, but you got to be, and don't get me wrong, this is going to sound wrong because I'm not saying he's not special, but you've got to be really, really phenomenal to go as a running back in the first round because the league just doesn't place the value.
Right.
Now, what does it for him is he may be the best, Travion may be the best blocking running back as far as tailback goes coming out in this draft in the country.
Absolutely.
That is something that's very
Holy
attractive to
Chris,
NFL
you are
coaches.
you are you are 100% right. CBS has Tyleek Williams round 1, pick 28 to Detroit.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a good fit for him too. The
What
defensive
about our
end,
other two defensive tackles? They're
well,
going to
the
be in the
ends,
second round or what?
You mean the defensive ends?
yeah, the ends. I could see
Yeah.
I saw JT second round. I saw
second round
Jack
Sawyer
third round.
first, third.
Hmm.
Really? I don't think he goes
Well,
later than the second.
Jack going to go that high? I mean, that low? I thought he'd go in the second or first round.
You're right, Ray. He'll go in the second round. I'm pretty confident of that. As far as JT, he's living his career off of that one game, but what he has going for him is, I think it was Bobby Carpenter maybe the one who originally I heard say this. You've got some players who are just built for the combine. JT, I think, could be built for the combine. So I think that he'll probably go second round. If it was me, 100% honesty, I'm taking Jack before I take JT. That's just me. I mean, JT was solid.
Jack really came on there. He did some great things. I like him a lot. I like the way he stood up for the flag and everything else, and how he's always been a fighter. And they came on a lot. I picked on him after the Michigan game, but I'll tell you what, in that playoff, we talked back then. I said we got to start getting explosive plays.
Yep.
We got plenty of them in the playoffs.
Yeah, yes, we did, didn't we, Ray? That's right. I remember you saying that before the playoffs. You're right.
Yeah, I think God was listening to me. These guys are spiritual.
Yeah, they
You
are.
might call it coincidental, but I don't consider that. I think he knew that they were on the right platform. That he knew that they were going to thank Jesus for all their blessings.
That's right, buddy. Ray, I thank you so much for the gift this week. We will put it to good use. I appreciate you thinking of me, my brother.
Well, Kurt Warner was that kind of guy, all his career. That's why I root for him. Now I'm hoping that I'm wrong about that defensive coordinator. I hope he comes in there and keeps his nose clean and runs the program the way it's supposed to be. I'm a little leery some of the things him and Belichick did, in New England.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well,
Ryan
Day's the head man, and he'll live or die by the decisions he makes, and that includes the people he brings in to work for him. So,
yeah, but Ryan Day's he's a class guy. He's a godly man. He'll keep his nose clean. He'll put him in his place if he has to.
That's what I'm counting on. Ray, I appreciate
you. All right, well,
brother.
God bless you guys.
God bless you as well.
Wait.
Have a good
Io. It's hard not to love that man. I've never met the guy, but I feel like I've known him my whole life.
Okay. We'll go with that.
It's kind of like you, Chris. It's like even though you're grumpy, cranky, get off my lawn, can't help but like you.
I agree. I'm just a wonderful guy.
Just pleasant, like a big ball of rainbow sunshine, clouds all mixed into one, fluffy clouds.
Absolutely. Now I'm fluffy. Now I'm fat. You got to call me out on that.
There's nothing wrong with fluffy clouds. What's wrong with fluffy clouds?
I'm a big old storm cloud. Get over it.
All right, let's head back to the phone lines. What's up, David?
Hey, how you doing? By the way, I like Chris's grumpiness. I think it's part of his charm. I just have to say that.
See, Chris? See? People see through it. They see through your act.
Oh, there's no act. I'm actually this grumpy. But
keep up the grumpiness. Like I said, I find it endearing. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, I wanted to talk to you guys tonight. I was going to ask you what you thought about some of the changes offensively. I know a lot's been talked about Brian Hartline being hired and moved up to call the plays. And what did you guys offer an opinion about maybe bringing back Kevin Wilson to kind of assist with calling plays to maybe kind of help Hartline's transition? I don't know if that's a subject you guys have went down before when it came to the offensive staff.
There was a time when
Yeah.
I think that was seriously in play.
Yeah, I do. I think that there was. I can tell you that I know for a fact Kevin Wilson was interviewed for the offensive coordinator's job, and I also know that they talked to him about possibly coaching the offensive line.
Yeah.
Um, and they decided that it was Brian Hartline's turn to be the offensive
Okay.
coordinator, and I don't think that that's the wrong decision based off a lot of different reasonings why, right? He's been there. He stayed true to Ryan Day when Ryan Day gave him the play calling, and then pulled the rug out from under him, and then Brian didn't complain. Brian stuck to the plan. He stayed true to Ryan Day. Brian could have left Ohio State like a dozen times or more and
Yeah,
gone to other
absolutely.
True.
jobs, including other head coaching jobs,
Yeah,
and he
West
just
Virginia was looking at him at one time.
he
Cincinnati.
never took any of those opportunities because he stayed true and loyal to Ryan Day. And I think Ryan Day wanted to reward that loyalty. Now, Kevin Wilson is, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, he wasn't named an analyst. And I think, in all
Okay.
honesty, I think his price tag was just too high.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, my thought first of all, I think he's a solid offensive mind. I mean, he's one of those guys that's probably, best as being an assistant, best as being a coordinator, maybe not so good at being a head coach. Although I actually thought he did a semi-decent. He had, some interesting teams, some decent teams in Indiana, and some good offenses when he was there. So I thought that would have been a thing that would have kind of, helped Hartline's transition to OC. But by the way, I think the other thing that kept Brian around is just, I would like to think is just, he played at Ohio State. His love for Ohio State, I would think, was also a large part of why he wanted to stick around as well. And maybe that's just my own personal hope and viewpoint on it, but I'm sure that had something to do with it, if not a lot to do with it. What are you guys' thoughts on the way the offense looks, come next year? I know we talked about, some of the position groups last week and what could be strengths and, what could be, somewhat questionable. I was talking about this on another podcast. Do you guys think that the offense, especially with Junkins and Henderson being gone, becomes a little bit more pass happy, a little bit more air raid oriented next year, especially considering the strength of the team is the wide receiver position, and you've got Hartline calling plays, you've got that influence in there. Granted, you got a new quarterback. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Chris, you want to answer first?
So for me, I think that you probably are going to see a little bit, maybe a little bit more lean towards the pass. But I would also say this. I think one thing that Ryan Day is going to instill in Hartline is the need for balance, especially with a redshirt freshman quarterback, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
You want him to get out there and you want him to feel comfortable. But I would say look for, even though Saban's got a very good arm, look for a lot of safe plays, especially early on from the passing position. Don't look for him to go out there and, like you said, go for full on air raid. Look for him to try to keep the balance, to run the ball. Peoples is having a very, very good winter conditioning. We got the kid from West Virginia, was it Donaldson? I think. He's solid. We got 3 great freshman running backs coming in. I would not be surprised if we don't lean a little bit more to the pass just because of the fact that we lost Quinshawn and Travion. But don't look for it to be full out offense. I think that the offense is going to maintain some balance. We got, and the natural in the chat just put it, we got this tight end Max Clare coming over from Purdue, who I think is going to be a huge asset. I look for
Right.
our mid-range pass game to be a very integral part of the game this season. They're going to want Sand to have a lot of, like I say, easy confidence building throws, stuff where he just gets the ball into the hands of the playmakers and sees what they can do with it after they get the ball. So I hope that answers your question. But Eric, you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I do. So there's a reason why they brought in so many analysts who are offensive line coaches.
Okay.
And I believe it's because Ryan Day understands that it is crucial that they don't lean so heavy on the pass that
Right.
they become one dimensional.
Right.
And I think that there is going to be an absolute heavy like lean on all of these analysts to help Brian Hartline get the running game going in the direction that they want it to go early on.
Right.
Chris hit the nail on the head. Peoples is crushing the winter workouts. He looks like a beast. I cannot wait to see him in live action. Of course, give me Bo Jackson just because of the name, but Turbo's the real deal. I've heard as well. So we'll see which one of the freshmen can emerge along with the West Virginia transfer and Donaldson and James Peoples. Also, here's the other thing I want to point out, David, and that is this:
Sure.
the offensive line is going to be really good this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
I
it could be an upgrade from last year.
I mean, it's kind of weird that I was panicking when we had all these injuries on the offensive line, and I thought we're never going to win the national championship, and then we did with guys who are coming back this year who were on the two deep. I feel really good about the first and second string offensive line at Ohio State this year. This is the best I've felt about the offensive line, Chris, since pre-COVID. That's how
Well,
good.
see,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, no, well, I just want to say I agree with you. I think the interior is going to be really, really good in
Yes.
particular. I think Ryan Montgomery's got a great future ahead of him. I think I actually thought finally, and I was totally down on Tegra, obviously through most of the season, but I thought he turned it in the playoffs. I thought he played much better in the playoffs, and then Hinsman, Padilla, I think are solid. I think it really depends on the two tackles, but from what I've heard about Daniels, I think he can be a real player.
Well, and
So
I would go to
I'm in agreement with you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with, but I'll say this too. There's no such thing as bad game reps. You mentioned Tegra earlier. It may have just taken him that
Yeah.
long to get into the playoff to actually get the reps he needed to be able to go out there and play productively. Because you cannot, no matter how much you practice, you cannot replace game reps. So
No, I agree with you. I mean, the one of the things that I think some people had criticized Ryan Day in the past, and I know I was saying about the offense being way too pass happy. I think that that was like a criticism that he had gotten there for a few years, and I think that was a little bit. I thought maybe too much. Well, I mean, particularly the first year, I think is the greatest balance I've ever seen at Ohio State when you stop to think about it. With Fields throwing for 40-some touchdowns, and then you got a running back running for 2,000 yards in Dobbins. So, you couldn't have better balance than we had that first year. And then I think in the next couple years, I think things got a little bit disjointed with, in the COVID year, but then Trey Sermon came on at the end of the year. And then, obviously Travion Henderson was really good. But then, in 22, I think it was the injuries that really hurt us at running back from maybe not having the balance that we could have had that year. So, some people have said that about him, but I think I think that's overplayed a little bit too much about his offenses being too reliant on the pass. I don't know if you guys felt that way too, or if that's something you've heard and you felt that way as well.
I think there was kind of this feeling amongst the fan base that, especially when it came to the rivalry game, where he wanted to try to get over this "we're not tough" thing. And so
Yeah.
we're going to jam the
Hmm.
football down everybody's throat and kind of play into what Michigan does in order to try to beat them at their own game. And when in all reality, we should have just been throwing the football
Yeah.
all game long to open up the run, right? Um, and
Right.
so I think sometimes Ryan might fall into trying to prove some things, and maybe it's to his own self. I still haven't shot the video yet where I dive into why I think we lost that game, and I'm kind of reluctant to do it because I feel like as soon as I do, people are going to be mad that I even shot the video. Why are you even talking
Well,
about this? But
it might make you want to throw up, Box. That's the other thing too of having to watch that garbage. You know what I
listen,
mean?
that day was my lowest day ever as a fan of Ohio State. I'm not
Wow.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like I've never
Well,
left.
Box, you lived through the '90s, right?
Yes, yeah, I did.
Oh,
But you you're kind of like my mind was on girls and sports in the 90s. Like, like I was a fan,
okay.
but like I mean, I wasn't as invested as I am now. Like I've gone to a lot of games in the last, 20 plus years, and I've never left the stadium with that low of a feeling because I knew we'd lost games before that I had been to, but I was like, you know what? It just wasn't our day, and that was a pretty good team. 2021
Yeah.
Oregon. We lost to Oklahoma once when I was there. Even the other Michigan teams that we lost to, even though they were cheating, it was like they're
Right.
still pretty good. This Michigan team sucked. Like they were
Well,
bad.
that's right.
They couldn't throw a pass down more than 10
It was
yards.
a walk-on quarterback. It was so
Wow.
deflating.
I've said it all along.
That was
It's a
bad.
psychological hurdle that he has to come over. He just has to be comfortable in who
Guys,
he is and ignore all the criticism.
I think he coaches tight. I think that remember during the 22 game, Klatt said that during the second half. I remember there was a moment in the game in 22 where he just flat out said Ohio State's playing tight, and I think that's the thing about that game. I think he just coaches tight, you know. And by the what's up?
I just coughed. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I think he coaches tight. I don't think it's like Cooper, and Chris will probably attest to this because remember what Cooper said. He said it was just another game. Ryan Day doesn't think that.
No.
Ryan Day does appreciate the rivalry. It's just that he coaches tight. There is where the similarity is to Cooper. He coaches tight during that game, and I think that. By the way, would have been the best performances of the Ryan Day era. They've all been playoff games. That's not a coincidence because he goes into those games with an aggressive mentality. Remember the Georgia game a couple of years ago with Stroud? He flat out said before the game, in these playoff games, you need to score north of 40 points to win. And he totally unleashed his quarterback, and we saw one of the best quarterback performances I've ever seen by a Buckeye in a big game, Stroud that night against Georgia. So, I mean, I just think that when he gets into those certain games, I think he's not as held back. That's just my own view. I don't know if you guys see it the same way.
I've always said that there were games, and I think it had happened in big games in the past, and it's something I think he's overcome. And I think eventually he'll probably overcome it against Michigan. I hope it's this year. Ryan Day at times, there are just certain instances, and it's very similar to what you said, playing tight, where he starts to coach not to lose rather than coach to win. And I think that's just it's a mindset he's got to get over, and it only happens at certain times. Like you said, he went out and was coaching like his hair was on fire versus Georgia, but then what happens? Harrison goes down, and then we see him revert back
Right.
to this. He has had the issues with Michigan. and he seems to play tight or feels like he has to try to prove something to somebody. I sit on here and run my mouth about that game, and you know what? It doesn't matter what I say. It's he shouldn't be listening to me or anybody else. He needs to just be comfortable in his own skin. Stop trying to win by everybody else's standards and just go out and be the team that you are, be the coach that you
And
are.
don't you think that happened in the playoffs?
And that happened in the playoffs.
Right. And to Ryan Day's credit, he allowed something to happen that I think most coaches never would. He kicked all his coaches out of the players meeting and allowed the players to air their grievances about him, the program, and the coaching staff. And then he did something about it, and they went on an epic run. And I think Ryan Day, and Chris is going to disagree with me, and that's fine because that's what makes the show good sometimes. I think Ryan Day's changed forever.
I gotta see it. He's got to show me. I think that I think that you're right. I hope that you're right. I think that he earned a tremendous amount of, and I don't get me wrong. I think he was already loved and respected by his players, but he earned a new level of respect with what he did in for that coaches only meeting. He took it to a whole new level. There's now a bond between him as a head coach and the players that were in that room that, I don't know if it'll ever be matched. And if he takes that approach and has that same openness with his players moving forward, if his mentality has changed, like you think it has, Eric, then this is going to be just the beginning of something very great.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm hoping
but
for.
I have to see it.
I mean, I'm on record as saying RJ Day's gonna hoist a trophy with his dad one day. I've got that vision, man.
That'd be great.
By the way, I wrote that article. Did you see who I wrote the article?
Yeah.
RJ retweeted the article.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it's our most viewed article of all time. It's on the website, guys, if you want to go check it out.
Listen, I want him to have success. I mean, I think he's generally a good person. I like him a lot. I think he's a very sharp mind. I've said that since he was an assistant coach here. I just want to see that aggression in that last game in November. I'm with Chris. I'm a little bit. He's earned the slack. There's no doubt about it. But that's that Missouri thing. Show me state. You got to show me.
Yeah.
I still got to see it, man. I mean, we have to get back to kicking their ass. I'm sorry. And I know people have said what their viewpoint is with the playoff in 12-team era, and you call me a traditionalist if you want to, guys. I know Chris has got a little bit of that traditionalist in him, and that's where he's coming from on his view, is we got to get back to kicking their ass because, I don't know, I was raised right. I don't like them. I never have.
Nope.
They caused me too much problems. I lived through the 90s. I saw Sean Springs slip. I lived through Bianca Patuca. I saw Desmond drop a high. I don't want to live that nightmare anymore. I don't want that garbage. I don't need that time on me. I want them to get back to kicking ass, dudes, and especially come late November. But I got confidence in him after this run, and he's going to do it.
Yep. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. And I feel like Ryan Day, to me, he's more confident because I think he's actually more confident in the fan base now. And I think that's real.
He bought himself a little love, Eric.
Yeah. Okay, this is a terrible analogy, but I'm going to give it anyways, okay? My first wife and I struggled in our marriage because she was so negative to me all the time. Sarah and I we're like a team, man. And she's so positive and encouraging to me. I think I can do anything because of her positivity. And I feel like Ryan Day all of a sudden fell in love with the fan base again because we fell in love with him again, where for a while there it was getting kind of toxic. You know what I mean? And I feel that's why I keep saying Ryan Day's got the football at the goal line. We need to push him. He needs to feel the love from this fan base that says, Ryan Day, we believe in you. You go be you again, like you were in the playoffs, and let's make this thing happen. Listen, I'm not expecting this team to win a national championship. I'm not putting that expectation on them this year. Okay? If they do, great. Let's celebrate again, right? But my expectation is let's go beat the Loserines. Let's go beat the Scum this year. And maybe we can get back into the playoffs again. Those are my expectations this year.
Yeah, it would be
You're speaking my language, man.
It would be tough to expect this team to go back to back, especially given all the changes and this schedule. Outside of maybe Wisconsin, Ohio State has the toughest schedule in the Big Ten this year.
Right, because guys, this isn't like 03 or even 15 where we returned a lot of people. Because remember, 02 and 14 came ahead of the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those teams came a year ahead of the game.
Right. Which is one reason why I'm a little bit kind of like, hey, because we're all looking at I'm looking at 2026 and thinking this team's going to be really good in 2026. But that's why I'm like, hey, when we won in 02 and 14, we were ahead of schedule. I guess we can be ahead of schedule this year too.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Hey, I love the show, guys. You guys do great work. I'm gonna get back together with you next week, and we're gonna talk Buckeyes again. As always, gentlemen. OH, keep up the grumpiness, Chris. I love it.
You got it.
IO, thanks for the call, buddy.
Take care.
All right, Chris. So, programming note, everybody.
Yes.
I won't be here next week. I'm going to be in Florida for work. I'm leaving Thursday morning, and I won't return till Wednesday evening of the following week. So, that means next week's show will be ran by this guy.
And I think I figured out the problem why we were on air tonight. I think I figured out the problem for the phone.
Okay. So Chris is set up to where hopefully, and we'll work on it again this weekend. So we'll work out the kinks hopefully to where he'll be able to do the call-in show next week for all of you. And then following that, the plan is for Chris to start his own call-in show with us. So I'll have a call-in show on Thursday nights. Chris will have a call-in show, and we'll have two of them. That's the plan.
Buckeye.
Is that what you're going to call it?
I don't know.
Get off my lawn. I think that's what you should call it.
That's
the Get Off My Lawn call-in show.
Maybe we'll just throw it out there and let the fans name the show. That's always fun.
Maybe that's what we should do. Don't forget, guys, if you want any of this awesome Ohio State swag, go back, watch the video at the beginning. I put the card up there for everybody to get a hold of Purple Dragon 3D printing.
Yeah, and also some new items were added to the website, including the coffee mug that Eric and I have been showing off.
Yeah, show that again. I love this thing, man.
We have the official logo, and on the back, Eric's favorite catchphrase. And if you haven't, get on it. Smash that like button.
I crack myself up sometimes. I don't know why. I just do.
Oh, God, I love me.
So, Chris, you're getting a gift.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I saw that. I'm excited about that.
The Grumpy Care Bear?
Yes, I will have to send that over. I believe I have Lacey on yeah.
Oh man, Lacey, if you want that mug, girl, just go. Are they on the website yet, Chris?
They are on the website now. Yes.
All right, theohiopodcast.com, and hit the go to the store button, the store link at the top. So theohiopodcast.com. Click on the store link. It takes you to Chris's store. He'll be able to send it to you. What is it? $15 plus shipping?
Yeah. $15. Yes, plus shipping if you're not a Pod Squad member. If you're a Pod Squad member, no shipping.
And if you don't know what that code is, email us and we'll send it to you. You can email the show at theohiopodcast@gmail.com.
And nice, Sean. I like that. Also, in the store, if you look around, there might be a little something special that's in there that I'm not going to talk about on the air. Something that I ordered for you, Eric. Those have been made available in the store.
These?
No, not those. Those are too. But no, the item that I ordered for you that takes about 4 weeks to get here.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
the ones I won't mention on the air.
Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down now. Nice.
But we'll just have to make them go through and look until they find it.
Beautiful. Oh, Googs has got a good one for you.
I feel like the Holy Buckeye Calling Show would be yours, Eric.
Yeah, it's kind of my thing, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I'm a believer, but I don't throw it out there and celebrate it quite as much.
So speaking of my faith,
yes, I saw that. Did you see the comment that was on the? Yeah.
I was gonna subscribe to this channel till you started preaching. I'm like, I wanted to say, if you think that's preaching, you better not show up at the church I go to.
Yeah. It's a far cry from a simple Bible verse to preaching.
Yes, indeed. Although I did notice that gentleman's logo or avatar was the symbol for Ra, the sun god.
There you go.
Interesting, huh? Yeah.
Ooh,
Right.
cursed design.
Angry Thoughts with Chris.
Angry Thoughts with the Wild.
You know what? Chris could make you a sweet logo too for that show.
I bet he could.
I know he could. He does some sweet stuff. So, that reminds me, Chris, I need to get a hold of you for ordering some more T-shirts that are bigger size, buddy. So email me and don't let me forget, because I'll forget from when I just say this tomorrow.
And Eric, Sunday night, do we have a guest?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, we'll have one. I've got a backup in case the guy I invited kicks it to another week. So we'll see.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've got a couple in the works. But yeah, we always will try to have a guest on Sunday nights for everybody. And if not, we'll just have the home team. But yeah, so it's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate each and every single one of you. If you haven't already, please smash that like button. We really do appreciate it. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel,
what's wrong with you?
Like, why? I mean,
get your head out of your backside and subscribe. It's free.
Come on. Yeah. Jiminy Christmas.
While you're at it, just drop that. Get out your card. Drop that $3.99 a month. Become an official member. Get the free shipping. It costs me more than that to mail this stuff out to you guys. Come on, $3.99's a deal.
Aaron, I don't know that I did. Chris, let me double check real fast before we close the show, because I want to answer this just in case.
Did you ever receive an email form?
From, and then he answers who it's from. I don't believe I did, buddy. I don't recall. I just sent out 3 T-shirts for memberships, and I don't remember. I don't remember that email. Send me another email, Aaron, and we'll get it straightened up. Okay. I'm super uber busy at work right now, guys. Like, every single week I've had 1 or 2 road trips for work, and that's only going to increase at the end of this month into March. And so I'm going to be leaning heavy on Corey and Chris. So there might be less of me tonight, guy, or there might be less of me in the coming month. I will continue to try my best to get out content to you guys. And I've been doing the morning thing, and that's been going really, really well. By the way, if you haven't watched the morning show, I do. It's like real quick. It's like 10, 20 minutes. And it's just basically me spewing out a thought that has come to me or news I've heard. And those have been doing really good.
Yeah.
sometimes they're hit and miss. Like the one this morning didn't do very good, but the one yesterday's like 7,000 views or something like that. And we've really grown a lot because of that. But at the end of the day, it's the live show. It's always going to be the live show for me
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
chat and you all. That's what like keeps me going. But anyways, uh, Curse says he can do a solid Eric impression.
We might have to have him on to do that.
I seriously doubt that. I am one of a kind.
Well, he puts on his Dom DeLuise costume.
Hey, did you notice the beard's back, bro?
I don't like it. I like the better black.
What? Get out of here.
That looks good. Looks better black.
I don't know who I don't know who this is intended to, but that's really funny. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that's in reference to, but it's kind of making me laugh for some reason. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for a great show. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart.
I'll do that, Lacey.
Until next time. OH.
IO.
Go Bucks.